Hello friends! Today you'll see how actors of the TV series Little House on the Prairie have changed. You'll know the original names and age. I will show you how they looked then and what's with them now in 2021. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go! Caroline Ingalls, Karen Russell, is the wife of Charles and the mother of Laura, Mary, Harry, Charles Jr., and Grace Ingalls. She was always known to be kind, gentle, generous, and faithful. Caroline felt terrible that she was never able to bear Charles a son. Mary Ingalls, Melissa Sue Anderson, is the first daughter of Caroline and Charles Ingalls. As a child, Mary was usually the gentle one of the family and was especially close to her mom. She was very protective of her younger sisters. When she was 15, Mary went blind. Charles Ingalls, Michael Landon, is very close to his family. He loved his wife very much and always had a strong relationship with her. Together they brought up a large family. Charles' personality is perhaps a bit more soft-spoken than most of the men of that time. Carrie Ingalls, played by Sidney Greenbush, is the third daughter of Caroline and Charles Ingalls. Carrie was born Caroline in the big woods of Wisconsin. Carrie was always the baby of the family until Grace was born. She never seemed to talk much. Isaiah Edwards, Victor French, is the mountain man. He was good. He had many bouts of alcoholism, loss of faith due to past personal tragedies. He gets into brawls and gamble away his money. However, he would remain a good and faithful friend to the Ingalls family. Eva Beadle, Charlotte Stewart, is a school teacher at the Walnut Grove School. She was a good teacher and a fine upstanding, always concerned with her students' education and well-being. She was meritorious and held no prejudices toward anyone regardless of race. Willie Olson, Jonathan Gilbert, lived in Walnut Grove in his family's store. Mischievous and spoiled as a child, Willie causes trouble and plays pranks on other children, including his own older sister Nellie. Willie later matured into a responsible young man. Carrie Ingalls, played by Rachel Lindsay Greenbush, was the child of Charles and Caroline Ingalls. Carrie was always the baby in the family. When the Ingalls family first moved to Walnut Grove, Carrie stayed home with Caroline, since she was too young to go to school. Harriet Olson, Catherine McGregor, is the co-proprietor of Olson's Mercantile with her husband Nels, and is also the local town gossip. Harriet wears the pants in the family, so to speak, as she makes a lot of the decisions and does most of the businesses. Nellie Olson, Allison Arngreen, is the oldest child of Harriet and Nels Olson. Nellie was a spoiled girl, the daughter of a general store owner and his wife, who got everything she wanted from her mother when she was little. As a result, she became rather bratty. Dr. Hiram Baker, played by Kevin Hagen, is the friendly doctor and veterinarian who services Walnut Grove and the surrounding areas. Years later, when the town became bankrupt, many of the townspeople from Walnut Grove moved to Winnetka. However, he stayed behind. Albert Quinn Ingalls, Matthew Laberta, is a young boy whose biological father was Jeremy Quinn. He was put in many orphanages as a child, where he was bullied. He ran away when he was very young and lived on his own. Later, he was adopted by Charles and Caroline. Nels Olson, Richard Ball, is the co-proprietor of Olson's Mercantile with his wife, Harriet Olson. Harriet and Nels are the perfect example of a love-hate relationship. They argue and bicker often, but only on a handful of times did they take it to the next level. Prior to entering the ministry, Robert Eldon Debs Greer was a farmer and family man living. Then a disaster killed his entire family, and a deeply grieving Eldon turned to alcohol. Then, one day after hearing God's voice, he was inspired to become a minister. Grace Snyder Edwards, played by Bonnie Bartlett, is the adoptive mother of John Jr., Alicia, and Carl Sanderson. Before meeting Isaiah, Grace was married once before to an unknown man and later widowed. She worked in the Walnut Grove post office when she met Isaiah. Andrew Garvey, Patrick Laberto, is the son of Alice and Jonathan Garvey. After moving to Walnut Grove, Andy soon became friends with Laura Ingalls, and the two had many adventures together, such as caring for a mother wolf and her babies and solving a series of thefts. Jonathan Garvey, Merlin Olson, is the husband of Alice Garvey and the father of Andrew Garvey. After moving to Walnut Grove, Jonathan worked on his land and at the mill. Andy and Jonathan stayed in Walnut Grove for a while, but eventually left to start a business. Almanza James Wilder, played by Dean Butler, is the husband of Laura Ingalls Wilder. Wilder is also a well-known character in the Little House books, where his wife wrote about their courtship and subsequent marriage in the long winter little town on Prairie. Alice Garvey, played by Hershey Parody, was the wife of Jonathan Garvey. Alice died in a fire at the blind school, which was accidentally started by Albert Ingalls. Mary has to sue Adam, and Alice evacuated all the kids. She died trying to get Adam and Mary's baby. Nancy Olson, played by Alison Balson, is the adopted daughter of Nels and Harriet Olson. Harriet showed interest in her immediately after seeing her in the orphanage because of her resemblance to Nellie in her youth. Nancy causes much trouble to Sirius. James Cooper Ingalls, Jason Bateman, was the second adopted son of Caroline and Charles Ingalls. As time went on, Charles decided that it was time for them to find a home for the children. As much as he wanted to keep them, he couldn't. Their house was too small. Jennifer Mary Wilder, played by Shannon Doherty, is the niece of Laura and Almanza after her father, Royal Wilder, dies. While grieving over his death, he attempts to kill herself by trying to drown, hoping that she could reunite with her father in heaven. Adam Kendall, played by Linwood Boomer, was the husband of Mary Ingalls. At a young age, Adam was fishing with his father. As he was walking over the rocks to cross the rushing stream, he fell in and hit his head. He woke up blind in the doctor's office. Eliza Wilder, Lucy Lee Flipping, is the teacher in Walnut Grove, an intellectual and utterly dedicated to her teaching career, but her personal life was that of a lonely woman. Being a very shy and repressed person, she was never close to a man and never kissed a man. Johnny Johnson appeared in Little House on the Prairie in 1974 and 1975. Johnny had a crush on Mary, but Laura had a crush on him. The two siblings had a short rivalry. Johnny Johnson was portrayed by actor Mitch Vogel. Alicia Sanderson Edwards, Kyle Richards, is the adopted daughter of Grace and Isaiah Edwards. She stayed with Grace when Grace and Isaiah divorced. Since everything that Alicia loves, her mom and her dad, dies, it's kind of hard to make her happy, but she is. Grace Ingalls, Brenda and Wendy Turnbow. Between 1978 and 1982, Brenda and Wendy shared the part. Grace was born in the episode A Most Precious Gift, but the Turnbow didn't start playing the part until the episode called As Long as We're Together. Laura Ingalls, played by Melissa Gilbert, known for the Little House of Prairie series of children's books, which were based on her childhood in a settler and pioneer family. Laura was the tomboy of the Ingalls daughters, preferring fishing or playing baseball. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please share it on social networks, like it, and of course subscribe to the channel.